Hey everyone. Turns out I haven't uploaded in 3 weeks, which is something I vowed I'd never do. I at least promised myself to upload once a week, so here I am trying to get back on that schedule. If any of you are wondering why I've been gone, I've been watching Breaking Bad, I've been sick, and I've been really addicted to this game called TemTem, which happens to be the topic of this video. The reason I wanted to talk about TemTem, and I'm sure you can already see by the title, I genuinely believe that what they've done here is something that I wish any monster catching game would ever do. There's a few things I want to address with the game, mostly with the Steam reviews. I don't feel like a lot of the negative reviews that it's getting should be receiving. And since people like watching something while they listen to me talk, here, I put up some gameplay of my TemTem experience. I'm currently on the 4th island of the 6. I've been honestly having a blast. I've now put in about 40 hours into the game, and I genuinely love this. I haven't had this much fun in a monster catching game since Pokemon Black and White. I'm pretty sure that's Gen 6, but I'm sure someone else will correct me about that. I can never remember the gens, I just know that Black and White was my last favorite Pokemon game. And just a little side tangent slash rant, I am really sad that Pokemon has not been able to capture this magic that I've had with TemTem in the last few years. Granted, even saying TemTem sounds weird. It's a weird name, but hey, it works. Having an MMO style monster catching game feels very good. I like seeing people running around with their own little Tems, seeing what everyone else is doing, especially with their crazy versions of their Tems called Luma, which is basically the equivalent of a Pokemon Shiny. Except these ones actually get really strong stats. From the very moment that I even started the game, it was interesting. Me and a lot of my other friends when we first started playing were very concerned about the art style. The people were horrendous to look at, but now the more I play it, I've gotten used to it, but it's not the greatest, I'm gonna be honest. And that is one my biggest complaint, I'm going to be honest, is mostly just the art style for the people. Combat feels great, I love the animations. The story itself even actually is pretty enticing. I genuinely enjoy it. Even the side quests, which can sometimes be tedious, depending on the side quests you do, like later in the video you'll see that I was actually doing a side quest to help an actress do better, or to help run her some lines for her film. It was actually pretty interesting. I actually had to memorize lines and all that fun stuff. I liked it. You have three Tems to choose from. You have a crystal, a fighter, and mental. So this game has a little bit different elements and especially weaknesses and strengths compared to Pokemon. I'm going to be comparing this game to Pokemon because I'm going to be honest, this game feels a lot like it except in their own twist of it, if that makes sense. Naturally, I started with the crystal. You can see in one of these clips, honestly, I recorded this after I recorded the footage, so I don't know where I'm exactly talking. But I have a companion named Tortonite. He was my starter, and I love him. And I love Crystal. That's probably my favorite element in the entire game. Right next to Mental or Fire. The fire element Tems in this game are done really well. I like their design, I like their moves. It's just genuinely a good game. What's really interesting is that the game is always a 2v2. No matter what, even in the competitive scene or ranked, whatever you want to call it, it's also 2v2s. Which makes it really interesting because they have this unique move type called synergies, which are basically let's take Tortonite for example. Tortonite and Grandpa work really well together. That's why they're both super high level compared to the rest of my Tems. Tortonite's move Crystal Crush or Crystal Dust. Man, I can't believe I already forgot that and I just recorded this. Crystal Dust. When compared with a Air Tem, it will actually attack faster and deal more damage. That's just one of the most basic synergies in the game. They could get pretty crazy next to my platypus looking Tem, aka Bish Boy. Thank you to my friend for naming him that when I asked him if he could give me one. Really appreciate it. His move Tsunami, when compared with another air type Tem, will actually deal, I believe, 20 to 30 more damage, move fat, and have higher priority, aka the ability will be cast faster in the queue, and will actually freeze all targets, so it's pretty strong. I really like this concept. It makes 2v2s a lot more interesting, especially when any Tem is good, But if you could get a team of Tems that all synergize, that have synergizing moves that all worked well together, you have an unstoppable team, and I really like that concept. And especially, you know, in Pokemon you have the option to throw your Pokemon out or like retrieve them and pull out new ones in the middle of fights. Yeah, in this game, I actively do this a lot. I'm sure you can already see by the clips, but it's actually beneficial to trade them out because of these synergies, and because it's not horribly punishing like it is in the original Pokemon games. Such as if you were playing Black and White, for example, and you were going up against Zekrom and you wanted to switch out one of your Mons, they would just get one shot because they couldn't react to it. But in this game, when you switch them out, more often than not, the move that they were originally going to use, let's say they were using a fire type against a crystal, which is super effective. You change that crystal out for a water, and it's already half damage, and now you have a water type in its place to deal with the fire type. So I also really like that. Trading out Tems in this game feels a lot more fluid, a lot more easier, and just interesting. Like, this is honestly a great strategy to know when you need to switch out your Tems. Especially, that brings me to the next biggest thing they did about the combat system I really enjoy. Instead of PP, for each of the moves in Pokemon, like if you have Mud Slap or Punch, they would have a certain amount of times of that move you can use before they would need to, well, go to the Pokestop to get healed. Or recharged, whatever you want to call them. In this game, they have an overwhelming stamina stat, so all their moves consume stamina. And you can see that sometimes when I have my Tems not attack, they're regenning stamina. So they can cast the move later, or cast other moves later, I should say. This one, I think, is by far the most healthiest change that they could have done to make it different from Pokemon. I'm going to be comparing this game a lot to Pokemon, like I said previously. I don't like to compare. It's probably one of my least favorite things to do, because in gaming, people like to compare games a lot, and that's more often than not, why a lot of games do die. But for the sake of this, I'm going to be honest, this game feels a lot like Pokemon, much like Hormon, which is also available on Steam. But let me just say, the stamina system is the greatest change ever. This is so much fun. You can choose either leave your Tem out if they're out of stamina, and just have them regen it, but they're against elements that are actually incredibly weak to them, so they won't take a lot of damage. Or you could trade them out, have them regen their stamina while on your bench, while you have another Tem out there fighting. It's a really unique concept, and it makes combat so much more interesting, especially when you can abuse the opponent's stamina. So you're actually fighting two battles, their Tem's health and their stamina. Much like Grandpa's ability called Willpower that he can learn, which basically zaps 23 stamina from the target, giving it to himself. So if you know that the opponent's about to use a huge costing stamina move, hit him with Willpower, they'll immediately become exhausted, or not exhausted, they'll become, I know there's a status for it, but I honestly don't remember. Basically what happens is they will, however much stamina they use, they draw it from their health. Sorry, I'm stuttering a bit. My mind's going a mile a minute. I'm trying to breathe for a second. So if there's nothing in the stamina, it draws from their health bar, which, by the way, can kill them if they're low enough. So let's say, for example, they're using a move that costs 15 stamina and they only have 3 stamina left. They're going to deal 13 damage to themselves, and because they used all their stamina, they can't attack on their next turn because they're too tired. This is a great mechanic. I love this. This game has been very, very challenging. Now, let me preface what I mean by challenging. Compared to, like I said, Black and White, it was the last good Pokemon game I personally ever played because I felt like they got too easy. XP share was way too overpowered. It made the game way too easy. Can't even turn it off. I wish it was an optional setting. I don't want to turn this into a Pokemon rant video. I can do that another time. Let me just focus on TemTem for now. The game is massive. So instead of giant towns you get to explore, there are actually islands. And each island has a focus on elements that you can find, but more often than not, you can find pretty much every element on one island. For example, the starter island, you will mostly find grass, air, and water types. And a lot of neutrals, but let's be honest, you find neutrals everywhere. And let me tell you, the first 15 hours of my gameplay was just spent exploring the entirety of the first island, or 13 hours. I made a commitment to myself that I explore every part of every island as much as I can, and doing side quests later, but if I really want to, I'll just stop and do them. But it took me 13 hours to find every trainer to explore every part of the first island, which is a lot more I can say about trying to complete a Pokemon game. I could complete an entire Pokemon game in that amount of time, and I barely scratched the surface of content in TemTem. In case you guys can't tell, I'm really disappointed with the way Pokemon's been treated nowadays, especially by Game Freak, so yeah, you're gonna hear me rant about them every once in a while as much as I want to avoid it. In the first island, however, there are 3 different obstacles that prevent you from fully exploring the island while on there on the first time. Basically, you're still on the first island, but there's not a lot of stuff you can do. Let me explain. A lot of the areas you can't explore, you need a surfboard, because, of course, it's a tropical planet island. You need to go through the water. How do you get that? Well, you gotta progress to the main storyline, of course. You gotta travel through the first few routes, you need to climb up a mountain, you need to go around the city, yada yada yada. That's when you discover, hey, the gym leader actually has the last surfboard. Okay, where do I go find the gym leader? I gotta keep going down this route. Boom, boom, boom. Make it to the city. Turns out she's missing from her dojo, aka instead of being called gyms, they're actually called dojos in TemTem. We discover that she's missing from her dojo, so we continue exploring. Find out that she's been kidnapped by the Ballesto. That's basically the equivalent of Team Rocket in this game. Ballesto is a huge organization, or I guess Team Rocket works for another organization. I don't know, it's been so long since I've watched Pokemon, I can't remember everything. Basically, they're the evil corporation of the entire TemTem universe. She's been kidnapped, you save her, she gives you her surfboard once you beat her in her dojo battle. Ugh, hate English. After rescuing her. But of course, before all that, you've got to climb this entire mountain to go defeat a woman called Lady Lottie to get her key to save her from her underwater fortress. And let me tell you, this was the moment I discovered that this game was extremely difficult. Now let me explain what I mean by difficult. You actually need to buy health items or else you will never make it where to you need to go. Granted, you can always walk back to heal your Tems, but you will always have the chance of encountering random Tems while in the caves. And especially with the amount of trainers you will encounter in there that will stop you. And then the fight with Lady Lottie. Oh, Lady Lottie. The first official boss with the whole name card and widescreen effect. She is actually a very difficult boss. I nearly lost on my first fight. And when I mean nearly, I mean I was down to 1 Tem and it was barely at above 30% health. So I like to say that if you are looking for a challenge, this game's definitely it. Huge challenge barrier. But yes, that's a tidbit of the first island. I'm just trying to give a general idea of why I love this game so much, so I'm going to stop focusing. Because the story is actually pretty interesting if anyone ever pays attention to it. It's actually pretty good. But now you may be asking, how is this an MMO exactly? What's so MMO about it? Well, one of the biggest things you can do, or I guess this isn't really an MMO aspect. The reason they mostly qualify as an MMO is because you can see other trainers live in different instances, which are basically different servers people are on, but you can still see them running around. You can team up with people. Oh, and that reminds me. The whole playing with friends thing is the coolest part about this game as well, next to the revamped combat system. When you co-op with a friend, you can only have 6 Tems, so naturally each of you will only have access to 3 Tems. So your other 3 Tems will still get XP every battle you win. This is the only time XP share is a big thing, but it's actually really nice how they do it. What happens is, and I'm not trying to explain XP share, I'm trying to explain co-op, we're going back to this subject. You guys can run around the world together, you can go into the grass, if you guys find Tems, you can both battle them, you can capture them, it's amazing. It's so much fun. We even fought a few bosses together, I helped some of my buddies get through some of the difficult parts, and it was honestly a blast. I love it. However, I do have one complaint about how the co-op system works. You need to be in the exact same spot as where the other person is. So you actually need to meet up, even if you're in different instances, at the same location. So if one of you is on the second island, or not even that, if you're both on the same island, one of you is in the mountain Windford Fort, that's where Miss Lottie is, and the other one is by the rest stop right outside of it, both of you would either A, need to be in the exact same spot in the fort, or B, be at the exact same spot at the Pokestop or Tem stop if you're trying to catch my drift here. That's my one big complaint about co-op. It's very, very tedious, but I can see why they do it. Oh, and the rival in this game, another side tangent. The rival in this game is so damn difficult. He will purposely build against your team, and you will always be at losing odds. It is, and I'm not trying to be angry at the game. I'm just angry that I'm actually getting a challenge here from my rival. Like, he's actually insanely difficult to beat in battle. And also, I don't want to spoil the story in case anyone is interested in. He actually has a big plot point in the story later down the game. And like I said, I'm 40 hours in, and I'm only on the 4th island, and I just started on the 4th island. So I'm still not done. And apparently there's a lot of endgame content. So, yeah, I'm going to be playing this game a little bit longer. Alright, let me wrap up my thoughts here, because I feel like the video is going on a bit too longer. I've been walking around my bedroom, so if I sound really winded, that's why. I don't like sitting down when I think and talk. I like walking around. Helps me get my thoughts out of my head and get excess energy to allow me to not stutter when I talk. There is housing in this game. You build houses from the ground up. It's actually really cool. I personally haven't bought property yet because I'm going to do that after I finish the main storyline. I'll focus on my house then. You can actually go warp around. You can actually visit entire neighborhoods of other players that are living on those roads. It's actually super cool. There are clans in this game. I've yet to dabble in what these do, but from what I've seen online, this has been a year ago, but the game's been massively updated since then, because 1.0 came out like 2 weeks ago, or 1 week ago, about a week and a half ago, we'll say. This game's been in development for a few years, so I probably should have prefaced this at the beginning of the video, because a lot of you might have already heard about TemTem, heard that 1.0 came out, but don't really feel interested in trying it. This is me telling you, yes, you absolutely should try it. Even though it does have that scary $45 for the price tag, I'm here to let you know now that if you are pretty much a diehard Pokemon fan or just a Pokemon fan in general, you're getting more money out of playing TemTem than you are for Pokemon. Because, like I said earlier in this video, you could spend 60 bucks on a Pokemon game. It would only take you maybe 10 to 15 hours to beat, and there's nothing else to do. You've done everything. But in TemTem, once you're 10-15 hours in, you're probably still on the first island of the game. Granted, you can always bull rush it if you wanted to not fully explore it, but even then, 10 to 15 hours would barely get you halfway through the second island. With 10 to 15 hours, if you're only trying to bull rush the story. Right, back to what I was saying about clans. From what I've seen, they're mainly just a status thing. You don't really get to do anything called like clan wars or anything. There doesn't seem anything too special about them. Mostly just like a kind of like a meetup, like hangout kind of thing. So that's kind of cool, I guess. And I want to finish up this video by talking about 2 more things: the negative reviews on Steam, and pretty much diving into that, the Battle Pass. This game does have a Battle Pass, and I want to talk about that. So before anyone leaves, I highly encourage you in staying, because if a Battle Pass is a make or break for a game for you, let me sit you down and exactly explain what the Battle Pass is. Alright, first off, let's actually explain it, then we'll get into the reviews. It just makes more sense. The Battle Pass is purely cosmetics. Yeah, whatever. You have 90 days to complete it, and you do this by doing the daily missions, defeating trainers, defeating players, doing ranked. Literally doing anything in this game will get you points, so it's really not that difficult. And what I mean by cosmetics, I mean cosmetics for your character, such as dye for your clothing, hair, etc., new hairstyles, new clothing, basically all that. For your housing, you could get new furniture to customize it all, that fun stuff. And now that I think about it, that's actually it. I didn't see... Oh, there's also emotes in the game that you can use, apparently. Name cards to help customize and express your character more, especially when you're about to battle other people. You'll have like an intro kind of movie. It's only a few seconds long, but you can alternate what you do in it, so that's kind of cool. But yes, the Battle Pass is $10 and to get access to it. They do have a free tier version of it, so you don't even have to pay for it to even get parts of the Battle Pass, so that's also really nice. They have the shop. Basically every week they have premium items that you can buy with premium currency, aka real world money, and they rotate every 7 days. And they also have another one, which is a daily one. They're not as rare or as costly as the weekly rare ones, but they're still cosmetics nonetheless. This is why you would be seeing a lot of mixed reviews and or negative reviews on Steam, is because that a quote-unquote full-price game has a Battle Pass system. Mostly people hate this because they've been with the game since the jump, basically when this game was still asking people for money to help promote their game, to help fund it, to help create it, basically. I can see why they'd be upset about it, but then again, it's It's just why. Just don't buy it if you don't like it. Now, I know a lot of you would be saying, oh, well, the game is still going to have a battle pass system, and we don't want that here. Don't buy the battle pass equals don't support the system. AKA, no battle pass making money means that the game developers will have to try something else to make money. But granted, they're already getting $45 out of you. So, even then, I still don't see why, I'm going to be honest with you. When I was looking at this game and I saw the mixed reviews at first, I was really confused. Because a lot of the positive reviews were coming from people who have thousands and hundreds of hours in this game. And when I saw the negative reviews, all they were talking about was about a battle pass, and people are saying this game is not free to play. Okay, one, buddy, this game is actually not free to play. It costs $45, but okay. Yeah, people kept bitching and complaining about it, so I said fuck it, bought it, downloaded it, and I've been really happy with it. Left my own positive review to help boost the score, because this game should not get any of the negative reviews if they're just talking about a battle pass that is optional and purely cosmetics. I think that this does not deserve a negative review score for any of that, because the gameplay, story, artwork, it's just beautiful. Even the music, the orchestra is so great in this game. I love it. Oh yeah, and also, when they announced that the deluxe edition is now available for purchase, it is 25 buckaroos. I'm gonna be honest, this is expensive. For 2 cosmetics, emotes, name tag, this is not $25. This should be at least $5 to $10. This is way too expensive. I do agree with people with that. But the reason I bring this up is because the Steam discussion boards are always a toxic place. I don't know if any of you have actually looked in these, but even for Warframe, people keep saying dead game, developers suck, game's too grindy, not fun. And you can see that on the Steam charts, they're consecutively hitting 50,000 members or players on Steam. Don't forget Warframe has their own outlet with their own website. They're also on console too. So, not a dead game. I only bring that up because Steam discussion boards are incredibly toxic. It's not fun going anywhere in there. Trust me. Even for positive games, you'll find a good number of toxic people that will just make you lose all faith in humanity. Anyways, back on topic. I went to this discussion board to see what people thought about the pricing on this, because personally I thought it was high. Apparently a lot of people agreed with me. Then the whole battle pass system came up, corrupt developers, greedy developers, and oh my gods. Okay. This is optional content, people. This is optional. I get that this is high, but then I'm gonna put some screenshots on the screen actually if gameplay is finally over. I'm pretty sure I only recorded like 30-40 minutes worth. I actually don't know. There is people just ranting, digging into this, saying how the developers are just these like shit, terrible people. When in Discord they seem pretty nice. I'm in their server, but that's no way to judge a person, but it doesn't seem like they're gouging anyone for money, because these are all optional content that don't affect gameplay whatsoever. But I see some people saying, just don't buy the battle pass if you don't want to support them. Then this dude goes on like a paragraph, 2-paragraph rant about how we shouldn't even support the game at all with the battle pass. Like, you shouldn't even buy the game altogether because it has a battle pass system. Oh my god. Jesus Christ. Like, I can't describe how much brain damage I got from just reading this discussion board. Did any of you read the one for Starfield? When they were doing like announcement updates, people were getting so pissed, like, wait, I thought this was gonna be a unique game. I didn't know this was gonna be like No Man's Sky or Elite Dangerous or fuck, what was Star Citizen? That was the other popular one. And it's like they're Elite Dangerous and Star Citizen are pretty much the exact same game, except one is finished but less content, but one is unfinished but with more content but infinitely more buggier. Star Citizen. But that's a rant for another day. Maybe I should make another video today. I'm just in such a rant mood with the fucking Steam discussion boards. I don't know why I'm picking a war with this in particular out of everything, but I can't describe to you. Like, if you don't believe me about any of this, you're more than free to go to any of your favorite games discussion boards and just see what that shit is like. Well, yes, final thoughts. TemTem, this game, the developers struck gold. Gameplay, money, like, community, this game is amazing. I love this game with a burning passion. I love TemTem. Oh, wait, right, before I end this video, I forgot to also say that they do have a trading system in the game, aka also an auction house, where you can actually trade basically move sets, you can trade Tems, you can actually trade gear with other people, and you can make tens, thousand, like, in-game currency. I believe they're called Pansons. I believe that's what they're called. But yeah, no, if you ever wanted to get into TemTem breeding, this is your moneymaker for this game. And let me end this thought, because I was about to end the video on that note, but it's like, it doesn't feel that good. So let me end this thought. TemTem is a great game. Steam... TemTem is a great game. Steam discussion boards are a shit show.